We're doing another tutorial on setting up for the live stream. Obviously, we've changed a lot of stuff over the last few months. Trial and error, lots of trial, lots of error. So we want to walk through how we're going to do that. Things that will be the same when you come in. You will find the computer in its briefcase will be in Paula Miller's office. The rest of the equipment, the PTZ camera in its box and the big black roller bag will be in the vesting room. So if you don't have a key, you'll need to make sure there's someone here who can let you in. We'll now go through again step by step how we set everything up. And hopefully this will help you when you do need to fill in. Thank you. We start first with the PTZ camera. Which is still in its box the way it has been before. Again, the remote. Put that on the table where the computer will go. And the two sections of the power cord. Foam base is a tight fit, so you just rock the camera back and forth to pull it out. And then remove the lens cap. Put that back in the box. Still as before. The base that goes on top of the tripod is pre-mounted to the bottom of the PTZ camera. It simply slides in, and as you're standing where I am, there is the knob to your right that you turn to tighten and lock the camera in place. Cord from the power supply, feed up through the legs on the camera, on the tripod rod, and plugs into the port right here closest to the power switch. Then take the twist tie and fasten it to the pole. The AC end of the power cord plugs into the converter. And then plugs into the spool here on the pew.
Okay, roller bag is where sound and the cords and the other camera are. This is how it's going to look when you open it up. We want the microphones on top. We pull out the microphones that we need. This is congregation that's needed for normal service. The other congregation, normal service. These are band microphones. We only use these if the band's playing, and we're using the Canon with that. Here's the organ. Organ's normal service. Underneath that is going to be the Mookie. Your soundboard. In this black bag is the cords and the capture card for the PTZ. Also for a normal service, you will need this one that says church. These are the church sound system transmitter and receiver. You will also need the black case is labeled as congregation. That's for a normal service. If the band is playing, you will need the band hard case full of their transmitter and receivers that will go with the boom mics. This is the band vocal. We only use one in here. We use Rob's. So we need Rob's transmitter and the receiver for the band vocal. Rob's microphone is attached to his mic stand up with the band. We'll go over that later. If the band is playing, you will need this little black bag, which has all of the adapters for the Canon camera in it that's up on stage. We also need the capture card and cord for the Canon camera, and Ziploc bag with the extension cords for the Canon.
Now that we've pulled everything out of the roller bag, we can finish setting up the PTZ. This black bag was the first one that Hope pulled out. You'll find it in the bag directly underneath the Mookie. And inside that is the HDMI cable that serves the camera and the video capture card. So we unfasten the cable. We have one end that's labeled to PTZ camera HDMI. Obviously, it doesn't really make a difference, but that's just to remind you of which port you're looking for. The HDMI port on the camera is over here. And you'll want to look at it because there is an up and a down on an HDMI socket. And then just like the power cord, we fasten it to the pole to keep it secure. We take the other end, plug it into the capture device, and we'll set it down here on the pew. We haven't gotten to the computer yet. We found that it's best to hook up the computer last. So we'll deal with that in a little while. All right, we're now up on the altar to set up the Canon camera. We have here the tripod. That was in the front pouch of the roller bag, the zippered part. We have the camera. Again, we make sure that the lens cap is open. We'll switch up at the front of the strap. The power cord is at the back of the strap. And then it opens the panel on the other side from the strap, flipping open. The threaded nut on the top of the tripod goes into the hole to the rear on the Canon. And it just twists in. Next we have the black bag. In it are several Ziploc bags, two. This one contains the microconverter to convert the HDMI signal coming from the camera to an SDI signal that goes out over the coax cable we use to go back to the computer, and its power cord. Now this one is the power plug for the Canon. Plug folds out. And in this Ziploc bag, we have the HDMI cable for the Canon camera. It has a small HDMI at one end and a regular size at the other. Then we have the extension cord. This plugs into the spool that's down here at my feet. So we take the power cord, plug it into the extension cord, and we plug in the camera. If you look closely at the plug on the camera, you'll see there is an up and a down. Now we open up the panel inside the camera. Right here above my finger is a slot that's labeled HDMI. That's where the cord plugs in. Take the smaller end and plug it in right there. We set the camera up here on top of the organ console and readjust the tripod so that it's level. Now we plug in the converter. This has a regular USB connector on one side and a micro USB on the other. The micro USB plug plugs into this side of the converter. It has a port, as I'm holding it this way, on the left is one that says HDMI in, the other says USB power. Again, there is an up and a down with a micro USB. So now, we plug the power cord into the extension. And right in between the two plugs is a little LED that glows red that indicates that you have power. The HDMI plug goes in next to it. Then, again down here on the floor at my feet is a coil of coax cable. With an SDI plug on the end of it. That can go into either one of these two ports. doesn't matter. Each one has two little pins on it, one on either side. They line up with the slot that's on the plug. Turn it and twist to lock. And slide the two cords in along the edge of the organ console so they stay in place. We put the power unit for the camera on top of the converter. Then we take a red Bible and 3 prayer books. We stack them up here. Try to collect the cables in behind that as much as possible to make them less obvious. I then consolidate the bags and leave them here on the pew where they're out of the way. All right, we're back now at our pew. This is the converter that reads the SDI signal from the camera. It's labeled, it's manufactured by Unishine. It has a little label right above the SDI port that says Canon SD camera. We are now plugging that in over here at this end of the pew towards the center aisle. This appears to have been generating some interference with us before, so we've moved it. So this plugs in, just like I described with the Canon converter. And we'll stick it down under here. Keep as much between it and the camera as we can get. We'll extend this cord out, and we'll deal with the final plugging in to the computer when we get to the computer.